whip. Okay, that's out the way. Hello, welcome to Spider-Man Homecoming review. I am your host for this, the amazing Chriz, aka the Mole. Joining me is the spectacular Stash, James Phoenix.
Hello.
And the ultimate alleged female, Anastasia Lazerbeam.
Ha! So funny.
Boom, I used all three.
You did.
And yeah, we're here today to discuss Spider-Man Homecoming, in which he spent very little time at home. He's not a spider and he's not a man, but besides that, the title makes sense.
And he didn't come really, so.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to nitpick the title. It was his homecoming to Marvel. I understand why they called it that. And he's obviously Spider-Man. That's what he calls himself. It makes sense. I'm just joking with that title.
And he went to his homecoming.
For like 5 minutes.
For like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is the third, if you include the original live-action TV show films, the Spider-Man reboots.
Yep.
I think we're probably gonna have mixed feelings on this, on various stuff, but it's not a bad, at least in my opinion, it's not a bad attempt. I mean, they get a few things right in this film, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see what they're going for, so that's cool. And he is the youngest person to have played Spider-Man
I like that.
in a live-action film, which is cool.
Like, in no way do I think he's like 30, so.
Yeah.
I will admit, I think I actually preferred Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Okay.
But that's just with the overall writing of him as well.
Mm-hmm.
But he does a great job as Spider-Man. And he has a supporting cast consisted of Aunt May, who the film will constantly tell you she's hot and objectify her, because 2017. And we also get Ned.
Not crazy about him.
I don't like him. He's basically Miles Morales' friend mixed with one guy who worked with Peter, so they mixed the two together slightly. And I say slightly only because the only resemblance he has to the other guy is he knows Peter and is called Ned.
Yeah, and Miles' friend was also obsessed with Legos, so.
Yeah, this guy he's completely Miles Morales' friend.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Miles Morales' uncle's in this.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a clever cameo because obviously the guy he's playing the guy who eventually becomes Prowler and stuff. But yeah, he's played by the guy from Community, Donald Glover, I believe it was, who originally, before Andrew Garfield, was actually rumored to play Spider-Man at one point when he was younger.
I remember that.
And that's why in Community they did the joke of having him in his Spider-Man pajamas and having the poster there. And I think Andrew Garfield Spider-Man has a poster of something to do with him in his bedroom, just as a nice little thing for why he was there. He shouldn't have played Peter Parker. I didn't think he could pull it off, but now he probably could pull it off a little bit, if that makes sense, because he's matured a little bit. But ironically, now he's too old.
Yeah.
But
well,
what did you think of the reporting? Or what did you think of Ned?
He was the guy in the chair.
That's not a response for what you thought of him.
I thought he was a good side character. I mean, you know, he wasn't overly annoying or anything, and he did help Peter here and there, and he had a couple of funny jokes, so I didn't mind him.
He was kind of annoying.
See, I thought he was more annoying than an Eddie Murphy sidekick.
Ooh.
Only because I'm sorry. He's meant to be Peter's best friend. I get he's really excited about finding out he's Spider-Man, and that's cool. Seeing him turn around and be like, "Oh, that's cool," and he's flipping the webs and stuff, that's cool. But the second Peter's like, "Someone almost just killed me," and the guy goes, "Awesome."
Also, he kind of like.
I'm sorry, that's just shitty writing at that point. Because he only had one emotion, and that was fanboy.
That's true.
If it's your friend, you're supposed to at least give a shit.
Yeah.
But what were you saying, Pew?
I also don't like how he not outed him, but like he's like, oh, Peter knows Spider-Man, and
Yeah, that was fucking stupid.
that was like
Yep.
poorly executed.
Yeah, Peter knows Spider-Man. But like I said, I didn't like what they did with Aunt May in this. I don't mind her being younger. She was a little younger in the Ultimate ones, but still had white hair in the comics before people think that. This one, they made her too young, and there's too many jokes about her being hot or people find her attractive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that the only reason you made her younger? You should make her more relatable to Peter. And I'm sorry, she shouldn't be relatable because she's hot.
Well, I think the reason they had to make her young is only because it doesn't make sense for like a 70-year-old woman to have, in comparison to, when Peter is only like, 14, 15, for her to be like 60 or 70 doesn't make sense, because you would have to assume that Mary Parker was not too far in age from May when she had him. So for the numbers to work out, she had to be semi-young.
Very possible that people could have like a difference of 12 years or more for aunts and uncles or things. And
yes, but the canon has established that they weren't that far apart in age.
But they've thrown the canon out completely with this film. There is no canon. That's the point with that, Jim.
True.
But I'm saying I don't mind her being young. I only minded the constant she's hot.
Objectifying,
She's hot whenever she's on screen, and I know you'll justify that, but there's no excuse for that. Of her being of the constant she's hot. They go out for a Chinese dinner. Oh, the guy hits on her.
Yeah, that was excessive. I understand her being young. I agree the objectification was a little too much.
I mean, it was okay in Civil War when it was Tony Stark, because he's kind of does that to all of them. That's kind of his thing, but it shouldn't be the whole world's doing it. The whole world's not Tony Stark.
That's true.
But other side characters, the controversial MJ.
Yeah, she was kind of funny. I don't know if I love her as MJ. I'm like mixed feelings about that, but she was like an interesting side character in her own right.
Yeah, some people will make the defense of, well, she's not Mary Jane, but at the end of the day, you didn't have to call her MJ, especially when it's made by the company that took away the marriage and ruined Peter and Mary Jane anyway, and now they're going, oh look, this is MJ, and you're like, this is the new MJ, deal with it. And you're like, oh no. And especially because the comics normally with the cinematic universe, they keep rewriting them to try and match the cinematic universe. You can see them writing her as a new love interest for Peter soon and doing it as that Peter and MJ, and that's no. I didn't even like her that much as just the emo loner kid.
Yeah, like she just had her funny one-liners or whatever, and that was it.
She had a couple of funny lines. Like I loved the bit at the end with the, "Oh, why are you hiding, Peter?" Nah, I don't care. That's funny, but I felt like she needed flashing out.
Yeah.
Well, I think the idea is that they wanted her to fly under the radar and not really be that noticed, so that when she dropped the MJ line at the end of the movie, it was kind of a, oh shit, from the audience. They wanted you to be focused on Liz as the love interest in this movie and only drop the MJ thing at the end. So I think the actors played it very well of, being under the radar, having those few jokes, being that kind of quirky character, like, oh, it's a fun character, but not drawing too much attention to herself so that you get that surprise at the end of the movie.
You know how she kind of reminded me of?
The thing with that, if you're going to do that and you're going to make it say, I'm MJ, she should have had more interaction, because people wouldn't care about her. Remember when she goes, I'm MJ, you just left with the feeling of, really, that's what you're doing?
Well, it made sense because it was this character. Then you thought back about, and it's kind of a character you were at least kind of interested in because she was quirky and fun. And when she reveals that, you're like, oh, see, it's sort of thing. Even Peter barely noticed that she was there, but now they're calling her MJ. Now you know that will probably become a thing in Spider-Man: Homecoming too. And so
it probably needs to be Spider-Man 2, or I don't know if it'll have the Homecoming.
Well, Spider-Man 2 is already a movie. They can't call it that. I
mean, I'm sure. I don't think they're going to call it Spider Homecoming 2.
Yeah, they'll probably have another subtitle, but whatever the sequel to Spider-Man: Homecoming is, I think that's where they'll develop MJ more. Now that we know, that she is, now that Peter, she's with this head of this group, and Peter's going to get to know her more. We're getting to know her as Peter does, because Peter barely knew her too. So we're getting to know her in the same way Peter is. Now that there's a relevance here and she's the head of this group and he'll be interacting with her more, we can learn more about her in the second movie as he does, and we can see if the love interest develops.
Yeah, which my point with that is she shouldn't be MJ. She's not Mary Jane. And I know people will make the case of she's not called Mary Jane. Don't call her MJ. At this point, this would literally be like if Bruce Wayne walked outside his house, there was a shitty, banged up Beetle, and he goes, "Oh yeah, it's my Beetle. I nicknamed it the Batmobile." Ha! Do you get it? It's not the real Batmobile. You know people would be eating that shit up. Look at how much shit they got in Batman v Superman for Lex when he's not the Lex people know.
Yeah.
True.
But why is Disney suddenly immune?
To be honest, I don't know why it just didn't bother me that much. I thought she was a fun character. I was just looking more around her, and the fact they're calling her MJ, I'm like, okay, I see where they're going. You know, I'm willing to give it a shot. It doesn't bother me that much personally.
Maybe she'll be like so punk she'll dye her hair red in the next one.
Yeah, see, that just annoys me. As like people know, I've read so much of Spider-Man over the years and stuff, and it just annoys me with how little they've treated Mary Jane. And she was an important part for over 10 years. And then suddenly they just erased the marriage and all that stuff, and you're like, oh come on. But
can we talk about Flash Thompson now?
Yep. Another bad characterization.
What was up with him? He's DJ. He's the nerd. He's what? What is going on?
Well, he wasn't a nerd. He was kind of a jock, a DJ.
He was on the triathlon, and he was a backup for Peter. You have to at least be kind of smart to do that.
Yeah, he was a backup for Peter in what everyone was referring to like a nerd club.
Yeah.
He's not the football playing Flash Thompson, which he should be. And you could say, well, this one's going to be different. But Flash Thompson had a clear arc. And if they're doing Venom later, he had a clear arc where he's the bully in school. He goes to war. He gets injured and stuff. He becomes Venom. That's way more interesting than he's just always second to Peter.
He's kind of a dick.
I mean, he's not even that much of a bully either.
He just calls him Penis Park all the time.
He does.
Yeah. And you got the worst part with that. Is the things that annoyed me. The line when Spider-Man falls to his death, and he just goes, "Oh, do you know Peter Parker?"
Like, fuck you, guy. What just saved you?
Now, some people could say, "Oh, it's funny," but I'm sorry, you don't always need humor in a film.
But that
was one of the times where it wasn't warranted, especially after Spider-Man just saved his life. And one of the biggest things with Flash Thompson in his most adaptations and stuff is he's a massive Spider-Man fan. And this just completely ruined it because he shows no interest in Spider-Man. He's more concerned about proving Peter's lying.
And also, this is kind of one of those points where I think it's supposed to be funny, like I accidentally killed the guy, haha. Like that's the same thing, like they did.
Oh yeah, like that line was fucking terrible where he shoots the original Shocker, then just makes a joke about it. Just makes a joke about it, throws the weapon away, and everyone's accepting this.
Yeah, that was kind of out of left field.
And he was a better Shocker too.
He looked more like Shocker with the coat and stuff. I liked Shocker. But I will admit the second Shocker was still fun.
He's alright.
You know, I wasn't sold on this thing, but damn.
Yeah.
Also, he only has one. I feel like he needs the other one.
And we also got Scorpion.
I was thrilled. I thought the only thing when we're talking about the weapons deals and we said, the Gargan deal, I thought that was the extent of what we were going to get. And it was just going to be a little in thing. And then when they actually went forward and actually had Matt Gargan in the film, like, oh, they're really setting up Scorpion. Shit.
They are, but ironically, they've changed him dramatically.
Have they? I thought it was always just a street crook.
The original Scorpion was some dude down on his luck that wasn't really like high-tech guy. He was someone Jameson paid money to become Scorpion to defeat Spider-Man.
That's right. I remember that. Yes. Now that you're saying it, I remember the animated series episode where that happened.
Yep. It was also in the comics.
No, I'm sure it was. I haven't read the comics, but I watched the '90s series. That's where I allocate things to. I'm just happy to see Scorpion. Scorpion's always been one of my favorite Spider-Man villains since the '90s animated series, and I'm just excited to have him in a movie. Hopefully.
Yeah, I want to see Scorpion. He's one of the few classic villains they haven't done.
Yeah, 2 needs to be Scorpion now that they set him up, and 3 better goddamn well be Mysterio.
See, I got a feeling they're going to go another route.
Flash Thompson Venom.
Nope. Shocker, Vulture, Scorpion already.
Oh crap! It's a Sinister Six.
Yeah, they're rushing to it. Like, not as heavy-handed as they did in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Where it's like, I forgot it's going to give you all this stuff at the end credits, but
Yep.
But we didn't have other side characters. I thought it was good that Tony Stark was only used as a mentor. He wasn't as overused as I thought he'd be.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Pew?
Oh, the guy, one of my favorite characters from Silicon Valley was the teacher here, and it's really interesting to see him in that role, and it was awesome.
Yep. I will say I didn't like Happy in this.
He was fucking asshole. Like,
Yeah, he was kind of a jerk.
Incompetent.
I don't just mean that he was a jerk. Like Pew said, he's incompetent.
Yeah.
It also raises so many questions, like the new Avengers building that they're seeing move moving the stuff to. They already had that in Age of Ultron. Why the fuck is it taking them this long to finally move?
Well, remember, the early flashback was of the original Avengers movie. I think the inference was meant to be that this movie takes place before Age of Ultron.
It couldn't, because it takes place after Civil War. He references at the beginning with him filming the Civil War stuff and constantly talk about teaming up in Civil War.
Oh, that's right, yeah. That is
Yeah,
weird,
he was
then.
in that film.
That is weird, then.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like they wanted to try and shoehorn it into the MCU, and this was the only way they could make some extra tie to it.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of shit.
Tony Stark does a lot of shit.
But the guy, okay, he hangs up on Peter once, fair enough. But then when it's proven that Peter was only calling him because he needed something that important because of the weapons and stuff that happened, why would he do it 2 or 3 more times and almost risk the fucking lives of everyone?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This shit wouldn't happen if Rhodey was still in charge.
No, it wouldn't. My question is, how the hell is fuck blanking Gwyneth Paltrow?
Pepper Potts.
Yeah, how isn't Pepper Potts running this shit? Isn't she like the head of Stark Industries? Shouldn't she be managing and overseeing Happy to make sure he doesn't fuck it up?
Yep. Well, isn't this the Avengers stuff which she's not overseeing? And
No,
he's like the head of security and stuff.
True, but he is the head of security. But at the same time, at this point in time after Civil War, Tony effectively is the Avengers. He's been funding and running everything, and the world's governments of the world are giving approval for that. So she might as well be running the Avengers too.
Yeah, but she's not. He is.
Yeah, because she's only got her name on the actual papers for his company, but the money from his company he can direct.
Yeah, it's like Bill Gates oversees Microsoft, but he's gone on record as saying he doesn't oversee Xbox.
That's fair.
They have different people and different stuff. She'd have nothing to do with the Avengers.
Fair enough.
But we had those side characters. We had the villains.
Oh, we forgot one. Oh, well, 2 technically.
Liz, which I was going to get to in a sec.
Yes, but actually that wasn't the one I was going to mention. Since we mentioned Flash Thompson, brief mention, Felicia Hardy's in the movie. She's dating Flash. Maybe Black Cat's coming.
Felicia Hardy? I don't remember. Yep. I don't know who that is.
Yep. Although I don't know if she is or not because they're doing a Black Cat Silver Sable film in a different universe.
Oh, they confirmed that's in a different universe?
They keep going back and forth on it. It sounds like Venom and that film are going to be 2 separate universes. So she's going to be grown up to go with
Gotcha.
Silver Sable, which makes no sense.
Fair enough. And
But she
then,
wasn't really a side character. She was more of an extra.
true, that one, and the other extra was the frequent news reports with Betty Brant, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, which I made the case it should have been Jameson.
That would have been better, yes.
Like he was on the Ultimate cartoon, where, and they've done him in other media like that, where he's on the what do you call it, the newscast.
Yeah.
Because come on, I mean, when Spider-Man almost messed up with a boat, he threw Captain America's shield at him, and Jameson's not there to question. Ooh, maybe he's a menace. Come on, this is the perfect time to menace him up.
It is. It is.
He messes up enough times that Jameson could have had a field day with us.
It's true.
And it would have made the news reports so much more fun.
It would have.
I'd like the kids' news reports at the high school. It's like, wow, even they hate this. That was amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, the film, because the film does go through various phases. Now I'm going to say something, which I don't know if anyone would agree or not, but if you've seen Iron Man 1, you've seen this film.
I could kind of see what you're saying.
Kind
there.
of, yeah.
It follows almost the exact same template. Even the ending, which I will give a slight spoiler here, but that's fine. We said this will probably have spoilers. The ending of Iron Man, I am Iron Man. The ending of this, Peter unmasks and Aunt May goes, what the f-? And then the credits. Constantly trying to learn the new tech. He even crashes down at one point after over jumping in a similar way to the Flames. It seems like they copied Iron Man 1. Even Toomes has pretty much the same backstory almost as Ironmonger. Or Warmonger, I should say.
He hates Tony Stark for being a rich douche.
That's why he was stealing the stuff. He literally said that he hates the rich people and he hates the people when literally at the start when his business gets taken off him for the Department of Damage Control, and he hates the superheroes because they get to do the damage, then get paid to clean it up. Therefore, they're rich assholes. Yes, that is literally his story.
That's what I was confirming. That's what I thought you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that is literally his story. Like he's almost the same character at that point. He even has similar armor. Just mixed a little bit with Green Goblin, which I didn't like this look of Vulture.
It's weird.
I like Vulture
It was
when he's got
interesting.
I like Vulture when he's got the shaved head and he looks like a vulture. It's in his name. This didn't look like a vulture.
You know what he looked like? He looked like he modified Falcon's tech, honestly, and then took it for his own and put his own flair on it.
See, to me, it looked more like the Green Goblin's glider had sex with a transformer, and that's what we got.
I did like how Vulture had a flight jacket, and that the puffy collar of the flight jacket was meant to look like the Vulture feather neck. That was kind of cool.
I will say some parts with Vulture were cool. I think he was a more intelligent villain than we've had.
Yeah.
Like wanting to stay under the radar and various stuff. He seemed a lot more cerebral. However, the scene where he finds out that Peter's Spider-Man is some of the worst acting ever.
It's pretty bad.
I hated that scene where it's like, Peter disappeared in Washington. He wasn't with us when Spider-Man showed up. I twitch. Yeah, and Peter also ran out the other day. I twitch. Then he pulls out a gun when Peter's not looking at him, holds it behind the headrest of the car, and tells him, I'm going to let you go because you saved my daughter's life, which he already made that decision. The gun has no purpose other than showing us he had a gun.
He doesn't use it. Peter doesn't see it. It doesn't affect him.
Yeah, why is he playing up for the cameras? It has no purpose.
I think the purpose of the gun was that he was going to offer Peter a chance to go, and if Peter refused or basically started being an ass to him, he was going to shoot him.
You're not gonna shoot a kid and freaking surrounded by students. Yeah. You're not gonna. Everyone's gonna hear the shot. Police are gonna.
He wouldn't have shot Peter because that was his daughter's date. If he shot him right when she was walking in and she heard the gunshot and ran out and saw him dead in the car, she'd never forgive him.
Yeah, that would not fly.
That's true.
Also, speaking of that same scene, Peter then runs inside, tells her sorry, yeah, but no, and then leaves and suddenly gets attacked by Shocker. He was like, aha, in the 60 seconds you left the car, he's phoned us up, told us the exact plan, and we knew exactly which exit you were going to go to, and got all our gear and our van and parked there perfectly. That That was
Yeah,
terrible.
that was a little convenient.
The best way now, there is a line in there where Shocker goes, "You don't need to know why I'm here," but we need to know why he's there. They could have explained it a little bit, like he was there because Vulture was wanting to keep a guard on of his daughter, so he was always going to be at the prom anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They just told him, "Oh, Peter's probably going to leave through one of the exits. Spider-Man's going to come out and exit," and that was the closest exit. You know what I mean? If they told us this, it wouldn't seem as annoying.
Yeah, odd.
Yeah. It was just really like, no, no, that's worse than some of the Batman gambits. Like, that's literally worse than some of the Batman gambits.
Right, so how did people feel about Karen?
I like Karen.
Yep, I did not like Karen.
I did not like Karen.
I didn't like it because I will go on record as saying, just before people wonder, I do think this is a good film if you're watching it as an MCU film. This is a terrible Spider-Man film.
Okay.
Karen and Attack take away everything that's good about Spider-Man learning stuff for himself. He's not Spider-Man. And even at the end, when he defeats Vulture by proving he doesn't need the costume, he only does so because Vulture misses and takes himself out multiple times.
I think he damaged when I rewatched that I think he damaged his suit by like, 'cause he literally didn't use the phasers at the second time, and he ripped the blimp or whatever it was open with his wings and damaged them that way to begin with, and then he further damaged them in the fight. So he already like decided not to use the alien phase thing and damaged them that way, and then he damaged them further. So he just did the wrong thing.
That's what I was on about. But if you notice, when he did that, it was going through the side of the plane too, and it seemed to damage part of the wing. Like, Peter did nothing to Vulture, and Vulture just took himself out. This film makes Peter completely useless. Which, I'm sorry, if you're a Spider-Man fan, you shouldn't like watching Spider-Man be completely useless. Now, I will say, with the fun elements they add and stuff, and with that MCU feel to it, I can see people liking that. Like I said, it is a good film as a film, just not as a Spider-Man film.
That's fair.
Because like I said, like that tack where he's like, "Oh yeah, what can I do here, Karen?" And then he's doing like basically exactly like Iron Man with Jarvis. Even has some similar malfunctions with sarcasm back and forth, like Iron Man to Jarvis, which was just weird. And yeah, like I said, it takes away all of his stuff. Like, Peter's meant to have built his own web shooter, which he did, which we saw originally. He did build his own web shooter, but then they've made him so stupid. Like, he's not learning on his own at this point, and it's like, oh, come on.
Well, I think the point of Stark locking the suit down in a training wheels mode was so that he would learn on his own before the suit was unlocked to give him options. Once he had, he was good in his own right, that would just, be an extra boost. And when Ned hacked that, it proved that he wasn't capable of using all his functions. And he proved at the end of the movie he didn't need them because he managed to fight Vulture and stop the plane all by himself.
No, Vulture did it.
Vulture just decided to say, fuck it.
Yeah, but Vulture only did it because he was trying to stop Spider-Man. If Spider-Man hadn't been there, Vulture would have defeated himself.
Yeah, my point to you, anyone could have done that. If anyone had been in that situation, and even Falcon, although Falcon's trained at this point, but anyone could have been up there and taken him out in the same way. And as long as they dodged, he would have taken himself out.
He damaged his wing.
I understand what they were going for with that, but yeah, the stuff like with the attack where he's seeing and he's going, "Oh, this is how I'm going to do these shots." That's not Spider-Man, because Spider-Man comes up with those shots on his own through his own, basically, you know what I mean, by his own thoughts and his own skill. Sense. Yeah.
Like this, that's what I was thinking. There was no spider sense in this.
Because, I mentioned that to Jim because in Civil War, he clearly goes, "Oh God," and then turns around and grabs something behind him and clearly looks like he's got spider sense. But in this, he gets sucker punched a lot.
Yeah.
Now, according to the guy who makes it, he does have spider sense in this. They just wanted to show it more as quick reflexes and less dramatic slow motion, just to differentiate it between the original films and this one. However, you've made it look like he has none. You've done it wrong.
Yeah. Basically.
Also, there's no great power, great responsibility.
Yeah, I feel like they're saving that because we don't know how Uncle Ben died yet in this particular continuity.
He was shot.
Most likely.
Well, wait, no, because there was actually an interview with Tom Holland where, they talked about mentioned, he didn't want to spoil it because before the movie came out, we talked about the fact that Peter was around during the whole, the attack on New York in the first Avengers movie. And when somebody asked about whether it was possible that Uncle Ben died in the attack, Tom Holland didn't respond and just said, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, that's even worse.
They can't take the Spider-Man story and turn it into Avengers. That's stupid.
That's even worse because Peter's meant to feel guilty because he didn't stop the petty criminal, and that's why he stops criminals all the time. If it's anything like an alien threat that it took the entire Avengers he has no reason to feel guilty
It's
much.
kind of a turning point for him. Like Batman's parents.
Yeah, which means they would have just ruined that. Plus, even if we don't know how Uncle Ben died, we don't need to know how he died to have Peter say, with great power comes great responsibility.
That's true.
He needs to just say it once. I just wanted the line said, because, come on, it's his thing.
It's true. It's true. I get it.
It'd be like if Superman didn't say, check out my package. Okay, Superman doesn't say, check out my package.
That's Hercules.
Yes. The other interesting thing they confirmed, actually, is back during, I believe it was Iron Man 2. There's that scene where he's the kid of the Iron Man mask. That was Peter.
Yeah, which it just seems like, you're retconning it into that's Peter now. Seems kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Especially when you add up the ages from the films, it doesn't make sense. But it's one of those things people go, oh my god, that's so genius. It's not. It's not, because Peter doesn't need to do that. Like, Peter doesn't need to stand up to an enemy before he's Spider-Man, because he kind of learns to do that as Spider-Man, because he's always bullied his whole life. But there's so many things that they're changing, and they seem to be changing them just to make them different to the other ones.
Yeah.
But it's bad when I think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man may have been a better Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Only because he still had a lot of the stuff that made him Spider-Man. The only thing they seemed to take away was the humor and essentially the building of the web shooters. But they still had most of the other stuff that made him Spider-Man, to the point that he felt more like a Spider-Man. This one just feels like Iron Man. He just feels like teenage Iron Man. He's Iron Boy. Or Iron Man Armored Adventures, if anyone remembers that show.
I remember that show.
It was terrible. Let's make Iron Man if he was a teenager.
Before we forget, let's also talk about Liz.
Well, and the really convenience that the dad with a completely different name turns out to be her dad.
Yes. I thought I was like, what? No, shut up. That's too convenient. I kind of didn't like that.
Yeah, the way they did it was way too convenient. And also at the end, where the dad's like, well, she's not going to be around to see my trial. She's off now. And you're like, oh. So is he going to be like the Karate Kid and get a different love interest each film?
I don't know. I could debate, because I could see them running around, but at the same time, because Peter only found out near the tail end of the movie, in like the very last scene, we're moving away to Oregon. It's supposed to be nice there, and she was all really sad about it, and Peter felt bad. I'm almost wondering if we're going to open the next movie finding out that Peter went to Tony and was like, Tony, can you help these? It's not their fault that their dad was a criminal. He was just doing it to help them, and then Tony might pay for her to go back to her fancy New York school.
That's not why she's going there. She's not going there because of the money. She's going there because the dad doesn't want her in town when he has his trial.
Yeah.
Yes, but they mentioned the money thing too. It was a combination of the two.
But she said the only reason we're moving. She says the reason we're moving is my dad doesn't want us in town. Otherwise, we would have stayed in state. So it's basically a case of Toombs didn't want her there. Which means he's probably going to escape it when he's in court.
Maybe.
And it'll turn out his vulture wings were, I don't know, the bird stone.
And plus, she like the way Peter abandoned her so many times in here. He's probably not gonna want to have anything to do because they didn't like part on like good ways. He says, "Hey, I hope when you're looking, or you're pretty kind of a shit. So hope you're less of a shit. Bye."
Yeah. Yeah, like Peter doesn't seem as much like a nerdy loser in this.
Yeah.
No glasses.
Yep. I'm okay with the glasses, but it's weird how much everyone's accepting him. Yeah, Flash makes a couple of dicky comments, but he's not like pushing him into the lockers or anything. Like I argued that the Flash Thompson from the original films was the best Flash Thompson.
Yeah. Who like beats him up and is like super shitty and takes fights outside school and you know. The closest he became to Flash is he had a car once, and it and immediately got taken away. That's the only Flash like thing I think he did in like the movie, really.
Yeah, and it was stolen by Spider-Man. Who, when Spider-Man asked him for the car, he's like, "You can't take my car." Which he's Spider-Man. Spider-Man's done that stuff to Flash before, and Flash does it because he likes Spider-Man. And then Peter starts to crash the car.
Yep.
Also, is it just me or does Peter seem less skilled in this than he was in Civil War? Like Civil War, he came up with plans to take out Ant-Man. He did all this cool shit. He was fighting toe to toe with Avengers. And then suddenly, he can't do that stuff now. And you're like, oh, wait, what?
He had a real webbing strength problem.
Yep.
Like he like ran out of his top tier webbing, so he went on the like C grade webbing.
No, but like I said, the film did do a lot of stuff that's cool. One of my favorite cool things, and I love the fact they did slightly address the issue with this of Captain America.
Yes.
But yeah, Captain America, where he's doing public school announcements, and he's like, "And here is your gym teacher," and the gym teacher stood on the other side. But they did address the issue with that. The gym teacher mentions he's a wanted felon now, but they're making us play this.
Yep.
And of course, he was the post-credit scene,
which was funny. Just tell people to fuck off or waiting.
Yeah, I like that way. He's basically patience is a virtue, and you're just like, oh, that's so funny.
How many more of these do we have to do?
Yep. I did like that. I think they only did that one though. I don't think they were saying you shouldn't wait for post-credit scenes.
Oh yeah.
I think they were just saying we're not going to show you anything to do with Infinity War until you need to know it.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh come on, you could have given us something.
I think the Infinity War teaser, they're saving it for after Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, but even Guardians and all the other ones have had something that ties to either to the next MCU film or something. So they could have tied something to do with Thor at the end of this to Spider-Man.
True.
But it was still a funny scene.
It was.
However, the only reason I'm not sure how well it works is it comes not too long after Deadpool did a much better version of this. You don't need to see a post-credit scene joke.
Yeah.
Where he did the Ferris Bueller version, which is simple. But yeah, like I said, the film did do a lot of stuff like I loved Spider-Man just being like a fish out of water whenever there's not buildings around.
Yeah, I really like that.
I did enjoy that.
That was good.
I kind of liked also how spastic he was.
A little bit.
I also like the theme song, the opening song as you're coming in is Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
I really liked that. The one that was in
That
viral.
was cool.
That was great.
Yeah, which was remixed. I had to give props to that. That was just cool.
Yes.
I also like Peter recording his video blog of Civil War. And when they're mentioning, who is this for? No one, it's just for me. Then why are you narrating? It's fun. Which I did like that. Although it seems weird to me, the Tony Stark situation on this. Where Tony Stark's just like, no, you just be friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. no, don't try and do anything big. But he got him to face Captain America and Ant-Man and shit when it was convenient for him.
Well,
Just like in Civil War, big heavy stuff falls down and he catches it and manages to do it right. This film, he seems to have less strength. Somehow he's been nerfed since Civil War.
yeah. Well, what I think, and I don't like necessarily agree with it, is that when he was brought into Civil War, Tony was like, "Whoa, that was a fucking mistake. Oops." So now just scale back.
But it wasn't a mistake because
It
his
wasn't,
side
but
won
that's
the
what
battle.
Tony's thinking. That's what I think Tony's thinking.
The only logical explanation I can think of is when Tony mentioned Captain America wasn't fighting you properly, which is kind of a cheap, it kind of ruined part of Civil War. Then if he's not taking it seriously, is maybe he hiding because of his youth, because he knew the other people wouldn't hurt a teenager, which was disproven in Civil War because they hurt a teenager. But you know they weren't trying to hurt him like this film says. Wink. But it is funny because I did like the fact that we were told Captain America was in this film before it came out, and people thought it was going to be more like some of the other Spider-Man team-ups that they've done with Captain America and Iron Man. Like I think one of them was called Homecoming, but apparently it wasn't based on that at all. And it's like, oh, okay. Captain America's just like a running video gag. Yeah. Captain America being that is just funny. Also, slight next nitpick. Why is Iron Man building Captain America a new shield?
That I wanted to know too.
Because he already has Captain America's original shield that his parents gave him. And you could argue, but that's sentimental because his parents gave it him. Why is he reverse engineering it to create a new No, he's made him a new shield before in the comics, yes, but that was because he didn't already have his existing shield and had no part in the original stuff. This just seems weird that he's gonna get him a new shield.
I think the point of getting him a new shield is, if you remember Civil War, it's because Cap destroyed his existing shield when he used it to beat the shit out of Tony.
He still got it though. Iron Man has it at the end.
Yeah, he has it, and then
it's not dented or broke or anything because it's still fine.
Yeah,
no, it was pretty beat up at the end of the movie, if I recall correctly.
No, it's not. It's one of the strongest materials, and also like when Happy went through his list of things that are making new of, he said Captain America's new shield. He didn't say Tony's new shield for Captain America or anything. He said this is Captain America's shield. That's a new one.
Yeah, which would be Tony making it for him.
Yeah, but like, what is he secretly fueling the resistance now? Like.
Yeah, and that's another point as well. The resistance thing, as I pointed out to someone. Tony Stark's now in charge of the right to get people who are masked heroes to sign their identities away, and spends the whole film mentoring a kid whose identity is kept a secret. And no one can say the age stuff or anything because we don't know what's in there. There's been no sign that it's got anything to do with age.
Yeah.
Well, I think for now he was trying to protect him, but I think the intent at the end of the movie when he offered him the suit that looks like it's from the new video game, and said, now you can really join the Avengers. I think the intent was just going to take him out to the press conference and then reveal, hey, this is Peter Parker, he's Spider-Man, he's the new Avenger.
That suit did not look like the one from the game.
Iron Spider.
And it's not the Iron Spider.
Oh well, I mean that's what
It had the white on it. It looked to me like the one from the game.
It looks kind of like the Iron Spider, but if you look closer at the suit with the colors and how the pattern is, it looks more like Ben Reilly's costume.
Oh.
Interesting. Isn't Ben Reilly's costume all blue on the chest with the red limbs, though?
You're thinking of the Scarlet Spider one. I'm about the one where he's just Ben Reilly.
Oh.
Not the Scarlet Spider, which the Scarlet Spider looked more like Spider-Man's homemade costume.
True.
But that's still... It's just weird because Tony's in charge of that, and from Civil War, he mentioned in Civil War over and over again that he thinks no one should be left unaccountable.
Hmm.
And then he tells Peter that he messed up and almost killed a bunch of people, and yet he's still not putting him on the thing, which he believed in enough to go to war with his best friend.
Yeah.
I think the idea was when the war was over, there seemed to be an indication that, Tony felt bad and realized that, he knew what he had to do, but he felt bad for Cap. And there seemed to be an indication that he and Cap had some kind of a silent agreement as to whatever was going to happen going forward.
Yeah, kind of, but we haven't seen what it was. And Tony in this seems to be back to Iron Man 1 Tony more than he is all the other films where he's grown and shown more. I know he's called about
Responsibility.
maturity. Yeah, responsibility and maturity. He seems way past that on this. Like, he's not even there looking after Peter when Peter's dealing with all this stuff. He's like on a vacation at one point.
Hmm.
Yeah, he comes back, but come on.
And he's got remote suits he can patch in through the Wi-Fi. He's okay.
Yeah, which isn't the same. Which, like I said, it just seems there seems to be inconsistencies trying to make this fit.
Hmm.
What did you think of the random throwing in Stark and Pepper engagement at the end?
I didn't mind that because we don't know if it's a real engagement or not.
True.
And there's people who can get engaged all the time and never get married, so.
It's not just that. I mean, it's more of a case of they seem to be doing it to shut up the audience.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying people like get engaged because so they can like say something so they are recognized as an official couple or whatever, but now have no intention of, actually getting married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now they could make it official, which would be cool.
Yeah. That's fine.
Now
and like I said, the playing of Peter Parker, he played Peter Parker brilliantly.
Mm-hmm.
I'd even say he played Spider-Man well. It was just how they wrote some of the suits, which wasn't like the scene where he's fighting the Avengers inside the bank. That's funny, and the fact he's constantly talking to him, and he felt like Spider-Man. But you know what I mean with that one. Like he felt like Spider-Man. It was just some of the writing let him down.
Yeah. And the film was good. It's still, even though they didn't have enough of it in the other movie, I still feel like it does compare to something like, if you're gonna be a car thief, don't dress like a car thief.
Yep.
From Amazing, because he had some good banter in the first Amazing movie, anyway.
He did. The only problem with Amazing, I love Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man more, but I know a lot of people found him too cocky as Spider-Man instead of like how he is this. But I liked him like that. He seemed like Spider-Man to me, but at least a little bit more. This one feels a lot like Spider-Man. Like some of his banter when he's doing it is just really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Also, why the fuck does Tony Stark have Thor's magical belt? Won't he kind of need that for Ragnarok?
Ragnarok, yeah.
You would think.
Because otherwise his magical pants will fall down.
Yes.
But like that's something that's weird in this one too. There was no mention of the Infinity Gems or anything.
Nope.
Even though we know Spider-Man's gonna be in the Infinity War, I hope he gets the black suit, and I hope Venom becomes part of this movie series because I don't want to like the idea of Sony's doing. Oh yeah, this is the MCU Spider-Man. Now here's a standalone Venom universe, and here's a standalone Black Cat universe. No, fuck off.
Yeah.
No, that's not why these work.
Yeah,
these work because they're all one universe.
Yeah, although I do think that might have something to do with the suit. Because given that Infinity War is coming up, they probably want to be able to go full on. Here's Spider-Man doing all kinds of cool spider shit, but they don't have time for Peter to realistically learn all that shit.
Yeah, which is why the black suit could have done that.
That's true.
And the black suit helped make the webbing for him, so you don't even have to use the web cartridge stuff as much in that. And they can make him a little bit more aggressive. And I don't care. I'm not saying we have to see Venom in the film. Just rip the suit off him and just see it slide away. Boom. The Venom one, we can just see how he got the suit.
That would work.
But I just wanted to go on Peter first because it needs to.
It does.
That's why it gets the spider powers and stuff.
I'm wondering, given that they set the character up and they tried not to make him too much of a jerk, I'm almost kind of wondering, I know they're going to do the Tom Hardy, the Eddie Brock one, but I'm almost wondering if there's going to be like that, and I'm wondering if they're going to have like MCU side have it quickly go to Flash and have him join the Guardians for a Guardians movie.
Possibly, but I hope not. Mainly because, like I said, this version of Flash isn't the Flash that he was in the comics. Like, I didn't like Flash Thompson's Venom, but I kind of liked why they did Agent Venom, and I liked some of the ideas behind it. And it was a great arc for Flash Thompson. Like, he actually learned through the war and through the suit to become a hero. And this one just sort of went there. Now, one mistake they did make in the comics with Flash Thompson's Venom was New Day happened. No, because it erased the minds of anyone who knew his identity. It even erased the symbiotes.
Okay, then.
Yeah, the symbiote doesn't know Peter Parker was Spider-Man. And when the symbiote goes to bond with him, because Doc Ock was in his body at the time, it reads two minds and can't tell who Spider-Man is.
Huh.
Therefore, it won't remember its name. And then you're like, oh, come on. I kind of wanted to see Flash Thompson go, wait, Puny Parker? That'd just be amazing to see him figure out, wait, Parker's Spider-Man? Holy crap. That's a great moment. But no, they went with, the suit doesn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, there was some good stuff in there. Like some of the times when you saw Peter planning stuff was good. That's at least showed he could think. Unfortunately, he leaned on Ned too much in those situations.
He did.
Which I didn't like that.
Well, you got that joke where he got caught by the teacher and he's like, what do you get? Porn? That was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. But I'd also argue, do we need a porn joke in a Spider-Man film?
Valid point.
Like I said to Pew, I found that line really funny. But at the same time, this is a film for little kids as opposed to watching. Now, you could argue the age rating and stuff, but Spider-Man's always been a family-friendly character. Parents are going to want to take their kids to see Spider-Man. Even more so if he's the youngest he's ever been. Because they're going to relate to him more.
That's true.
But the joke was still funny.
I think if they can stand up and hear Penis Parker like 10 times, you're allowed to talk about porn also.
Yeah. You are, but like I said, that's part of it as well, like the Penis Parker and stuff. It's like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
And the only reason he calls him that is because he's not Flash Thompson enough to be able to call him Puny Parker.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, where's the scene where Peter Parker starts to use his powers in amazing and strange ways in front of all of his classmates? Oh, come on. We all know what you're seeing on about. Spider-Man 1, unmasked, he suddenly managed to beat up Flash Thompson, dodge the shit out the way, fire webbing onto a tray, and carry it off, and no one thought, that's Spider-Man. Spider-Man shows up just days later. Andrew Garfield's one, he jumps up into a train carriage, does all this cool shit, sticks to a pole, rips it off, and does all this. Then days later, Spider-Man appears, and no one goes, wait a minute. That guy in the subway, he was moving like a spider. He's stuck to stuff. Although I will say they did do one of my peeves in this.
What's that?
And it's been in all the other Spider-Man films. He took his mask off too many fucking times.
Yeah.
Like one point when he's crushed under rubble, he's like, oh God, my enemies found out my secret identity. And now I'm in his lair. I shall let more know who I am. In case I survive. And you're just like, no. Now, you could say he took it off so he could see, but come on.
I think I think the only reason they took the mask off is so they could have like the actual actor himself have more screen time.
Yeah, which I understand that's sometimes written in actors' contracts, but I argue more actors should be willing to do what they did for Dredd. Where the actor playing Dredd in that signed a contract where his face he didn't want his face shown because that's not what Dredd does. Like, come on, if there was a lot of teenage scenes with Peter Parker where he had screen time, we don't need him in the Spider-Man scenes. No.
Yeah.
True.
I always hate it when he just goes and take, because I understand, like, they've done that in other superhero films as much, but in all the Spider-Man films, he takes off his masks at stupid times.
Yeah.
Like, at least this time his villain lives. That's something new.
Yeah, and I like how they gave you and I like how they gave the indication that Vulture kind of, because he saved both his daughter's life and his own, they gave the indication that he kind of forgave Peter and he didn't tell Matt Gargan who he was.
I don't think he forgave Peter, but I think he didn't reveal his identity because of that, if that makes sense. Like, out of respect for Peter.
Okay.
But if you can tell with him teaming up with Gargan, he's pretty... Something's going to happen, though. Like, if they do Sinister Six, they're still going to come after Spider-Man. He
True.
just might be respected of, let's keep Peter's identity secret, either A, out of respect, or B, in case his daughter's with her. Because let's face it, if his daughter does go back to Peter at some point, does he really want his daughter to be sat down and be like, oh, I love you, Peter. Can I have some spaghetti? Oh, yeah, here you go, my love. Do you want to break some bread? Oh, yeah. Holy shit, a scorpion. I don't think he wants that for his daughter.
True.
But the scorpion suit should be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Spider's natural predator, if you believe Jameson.
Yep. I did not like I said, I didn't like the Vulture costume though, because Vulture's he always had his face shown. He had that iconic nose and hair. Ironically, the guy playing him in Spider-Man 4 looked more like Vulture. I liked what they've done.
Yeah,
with
John
this,
Malkovich would have been a good Vulture.
Yeah, I liked what they've done with him in this and how they made him think in some parts. Just not that one scene we joked about.
Yeah.
However, it's just the look. I didn't like the look, if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
That's not Vulture to me. But to be fair, there's been very few enemies in the previous Spider-Man film, so I've been like, I like that suit.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Power Ranger Green Goblin.
Yep.
Ironically, I did like New Goblin. But only
Okay.
in the confines of that movie. Because I'm like, that's something Harry would come up with on his own.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that makes sense. Or I would have liked the original Green Goblin or the Alex Ross Green Goblin more so.
Right.
But this was our review of Homecoming.
It was.
Overall thoughts? Let's go with Jim first.
I really enjoyed the movie. I'm a big fan of the MCU, so I like the fact that it worked into the MCU and connected to a lot of things. I thought he was a good Peter. He was believable as both Peter and Spider-Man, and I like that he's kind of, unlike most of the heroes we see in the MCU, he's the up-and-coming one, the one trying to learn and to gain more abilities, and they went to, spend a lot of the movie establishing that he has all this stuff in his suit, but even if it's there, he's number one, not trained enough to use it. Number two, he's not really comfortable using it. He prefers to work on his own and think through things and just use basic powers. And I like they set him up that way. He has the tech available, but doesn't need to use it or doesn't want to use it. I thought that was kind of cool. Overall, enjoyable movie. I thought Vulture was really good. I thought Michael Keaton did a great job. I like the fact they set up Scorpion. I'm really excited to see Scorpion in a movie.
Can we all just make the joke of, haha, he played Birdman?
We can.
Okay.
That's also an excellent movie. Go see that movie as well. Next time you call, I can be heard in theaters around the world.
Yeah, Birdman was awesome. Also, fun little fact. Did you notice the first time we saw Vulture?
When he gets fired?
I mean, as Vulture.
Oh, yeah.
He opens up his wings and it makes a silhouette against the moon. Almost an homage to his Batman.
Ah.
No, I think that's what it was there for. I genuinely think
cool.
that's what they did that for. I think it was like a little homage to Batman.
That's cool. Now, overall, an enjoyable movie. If you're an MCU fan, I recommend going to see it. Yeah, because it is a young Spider-Man, they're just setting him up. He does come across as a little weak and not quite where we expect a Spider-Man to be and what we expect him to be able to do. But I feel like that gives him a chance to grow and learn and to become the Spider-Man that we know. And I think that's kind of cool. So I would recommend going to see it. If I'm going to numerically rate it, I'd throw it an 85. Respectable movie, good stuff, even if there are a couple of plot holes here and there.
Okay, and Pew?
I really enjoyed this movie, more specifically just as a film by itself, and I guess connected to the MCU. I think it was good that Peter was younger because I kind of, with a lot of the people who played Peter, I think I don't see that kid being a realistic kid in this circumstance, but I feel like a lot of things that Peter would do, like that's what a 15-year-old boy would do. So I kind of liked that for things, even if that's not exactly what Peter Parker would do. Which I guess you could take it as a double-edged sword. So So that was kind of cool. And also, like, he's pretty good at Spider-Man, although Spider-Man's kind of nerfed, and that was weird. And Vulture, not so crazy about. Love interest chick, also not crazy about her. But it was enjoyable and stuff, so I didn't like his kind of reliance on tech. It's all right. It's if you just look at it as a film, like not necessarily as a Spider-Man film, it's like better. It's really fun. He's funny. He had good quips and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yep.
Mole?
Which, yeah, like I said, it's got problems as a Spider-Man fan. It's got problems. Like if you notice, most of the stuff in his tech is all the creative shots he's come up with over his career. So he has no place to grow because they've taken it all from him. Because how can he grow when they've given, when anything he comes up with will only have been inspired by what Tony Stark did to him? Any cool shots he does will only be because of Tony Stark. It's not that. No, they've already used Tony Stark in the MCU and made him got his fingerprints on everything. If that makes sense. But
he's almost the Batman in terms of like control,
yeah.
I guess.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but ironically more so because they've even taken stuff that went to other characters and gave it to him.
Yeah.
With Ultron and stuff. But yeah, basically we had, like I said, as a film, it's a great, it's a fun MCU film. It's one of the better MCU films at this time. Right, but and like I said, people should go and watch it. I would be giving it a thumbs up. But like I said, there is plot holes which I didn't like. I don't like what they've done with Spider-Man, because as a Spider-Man fan, that just irritates the hell out of me. Because Spider-Man's supposed to be the everyman who learns on his own and stuff, and they kind of took that away from him on this. Like most of the stuff he was dealing with, there was hardly any time where he has the choices too, which I always like. Like the only one he got was the prom, and that was over quick. And when I say the choices, is like Stanley always used to talk about when he wrote Spider-Man. He said whenever he came up with a Spider-Man idea in his head, he always came up with, okay, where can we put Peter and where can we put Spider-Man? I.e., Aunt May needs her medicine from over here, but Green Goblin's over there committing crime. Which one will Peter do? That's the type of choices Spider-Man always has in these films. I don't think he had as much in this. His sidekick also kind of cheapens him with Ned. It gives him a friend to talk to, which is a good thing. He needs an extra character to be able to bounce off. But they made Ned too competent over Peter, which kind of, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, it's still a good film. It's just not a good Spider-Man film. It's probably, I'm going to rate it the 4th best Spider-Man film.
Okay. Behind
Amazing, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, then this.
Okay.
But like I said, it's still fun. It's still worth watching, and I want to see what they do in the sequels at least.
Yeah.
But and yeah, like I said, my other problem is it's pretty much Iron Man 1, but with a Spider-Man costume. But I was your host for this one, Chriz, aka The Mole. Joining me was James Phoenix.
Thank you.
And Anastasia the Pew.
Lazerbeam.
Laserbeak.
Yes.
Pew, 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 pew. There you go. Or people join us at home. It can be the new yes chant. Pew, 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 pew. But yeah, we'll see ya. Flip.